Hello world, I'm Missy Girl, and welcome back to another video with your girl, Missy Girl. I hope everybody's doing terrific on this wonderful, terrific, but rainy Thursday. It's okay, as long as you're safe. So, this video is a small talking video with me chewing gum because one of my favorite ASMRs, Ganja Goddess ASMR, suggested that I do a video where I chew gum and ramble or talk or whatever it is. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. If you see me pausing, it's because I don't really like to talk with gum in my mouth, but if my viewers want me to do it, I definitely will. Before I get started in this video, like it up, subscribe, tell me what you want me to see or do, and I definitely will try my best to do that for you. Bye. So, a little trigger warning, this video does talk about my mental health, about my depression, my anxiety, how I was abused as a child, how I had thoughts of suicide, how I self-harmed, all of that stuff, right? So, let's get started. Woo! So, when I was a child, like a baby pretty much, like 4 years old, I was sexually assaulted by a really close family member of mine. This went on for like 6 years, and he told me to stay hush hush about it. He told me to like, he said, if like, I'll buy you candy or I'll buy you snacks from the store if you don't tell mom or dad, or if you don't tell this and that, or if you don't tell this and that. Alright, so as a child, you're gonna do what? Stay hush hush, right? You're 4 years old, you want candy, right? So in my head, I'm thinking this is the right thing to do, right? So it goes on. I'm not gonna get to specifics, but years goes on because doing what we doing. To this day, I still don't know how my school found out. Well, not my school, but my child city team found out. They called me to the office. I was like in 4th grade, and they sent me to Child Protective Services. Got evaluated, asked me questions, all of that stuff, right? And then they sent me over to my pastor's house to stay for a couple months while my family member was getting taken away. And now he was locked up for years. I was staying with now they're my godparents. At the time they were just my pastor. I was staying with them for a couple of months. So I only saw my parents on Sundays, right? So I had a child therapist, but then after the session, after I went home, like, you know, to this house, the house I live in with my parents, I don't have a therapist no more. They stopped seeking therapy for me. I don't know why. I guess because I thought, like, I guess I was fine, so they didn't really ask me questions, but they should have. I don't know. Right. They still should have provided those services, but they didn't. So years goes on, and I always knew I liked both genders, right? Now I don't discriminate. I mean, I don't label. I had a point where I was bi, had a point where I was straight, had a point where I was lesbian, had a point where I was bi again. I just don't label. Like, I like both genders. So when I came out to my parents at 17, it was a really hard thing for them to grab because they're Christians, they're black, you know how that thing goes. So I felt alone. They kept pinpointing what happened to me as a child, stuff like that. But even before this thing happened, even when I was 3, maybe not 2, but when I was 3, I always played the kissing game with my female friends. I always liked it more than they liked it. So actually coming out, because, you know, my parents would tell me, my dad really didn't care. He doesn't really care about too much stuff, but my mom cares about a lot. So she would ask me, and I'll deny it. So asking me coming out, it was so much harder on me. I felt alone. They kept blaming what happened to me as a child, a lot of stuff, right? I really felt alone. My grandma was telling me some stuff that really hurt me. So I got into this depressing state where I self-harmed, and I cut myself, not with a knife or a razor or anything like that. It was my nails, and I used like a bottle cap, like a sharp bottle cap, not like a water bottle, because the heck it's gonna do, but like from like a beer bottle, something like that. And the last time my mom and I had an argument, which was last year, I cut myself all the way over here and all the way over here. So I want a tattoo that covers this so nobody really asks me questions. And my dad did ask me, like, did you cut yourself? And I said, no. Technically, I didn't. I just scratched my nails and it did leave blood marks. Like, I was bleeding for a week. But I didn't want to say I was because I didn't want to check myself into a mental hospital because I just didn't want that. You know, it wasn't that severe. Only when my depression kicked, I did self-harm. But it wasn't like every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people really do it every single day. I didn't do it every single day. So I got this really depressed state. A lot of things going on in my mind. You know, I did forgive the person. You know, him and I talked. We didn't even talk too much over the phone. We wrote letters. And I did ask him why. He did tell me why. Again, I'm not going to explain too many details because it's just too personal. He did tell me why, and I kind of got an understanding. Excuse me. So I kind of felt a little bit more better because I knew, you know what I'm saying, why he did what he did. It wasn't just because he wanted to do it. No, he actually was, like, forced to do it. And again, I'm not going to get too personal. So, yeah. So, I started writing poetry when I was 16. It was, like, simple stuff, though. Poems for my parents, nothing too major. Then when I got depressed, in my depressed state, I started writing more and more and more poems. So that kind of helps me a lot in my depression. So at night, whenever I felt, it was always at night where I felt depressed, and I always cried myself to sleep. Nobody really knew that I was crying myself to sleep. So that's like one of my worst fears is that my daughter or my son goes through what I go through. You know what I mean? I don't blame my parents at all, but this happens. So I found poetry, and I wrote, and it helped me like 80% of the time, and the other 20%, it didn't help me at all. And that 20% was really the time when I was like, okay, I'm done. I want to give up. I'm done. Like, I just want to kill myself now, you know? But again, the other 80% of the time, I would write a poem about how I'm feeling or about just anything in general. Whatever comes to my mind and my heart, write that poem, read it over. I will be fine. Totally fine. So, kept going. Talked to my mom about it a little bit. We found a therapist. I have one now. But it wasn't until 2019, my church does this midwinter conference where every year, last year we couldn't do it because of COVID, but this year we're going to do it again. We go to a different state, and I have conferences and workshops and things like that. We meet other Christians. We talk about real life experiences and real life problems, right? So I've always went, not to every single one, but I went to a lot of them. This particular time was in Washington, D.C., 2019. And I'm telling you, I never praised God so much. I never, like, shouted, cried, screamed, danced so many times, like, so much. I never did that before ever in my life. And I wasn't ashamed of it because I just, like, let everything go. Let all my depression go. Like, let everything, like, I just gave it up to God. And I felt so much better. And I went to this conference. And I wasn't going to go because I'm very, like, again, I have anxiety. I didn't want to go because I didn't really have friends at that particular meeting. I didn't want to walk into it by myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. End up going. There was a panel of people. They were talking about their stories and things like that. Every person had a story to tell. They opened up the floor to let everybody else speak about their life stories, right? So a couple people were telling about how they were bullied, how they lived from, like, how they were raised in, like, a single parent home, things like that, right? So I was like, I went to my story. I don't. You know what? I got up and told my story, but I'm telling you, I felt the weight off my shoulder. I cried, and comes to find out that one person in that panel lives in New Jersey, and he was like, I'm gonna set you up with a therapist, things like that. Another person was in another meeting that I went to, and she was awesome. Another lady in the panel, she lived in New York, and like all of them actually sent me, like, give me your number, we need to talk. Like, I'm telling you, it was something that I really needed. And ever since then, they gave me a book. It's called Don't Give Up on You by Whitney Smith and Dwayne Graham. They gave me the book for free. They autographed. They gave everybody the book, but they autographed it. And once I read it, I felt so much better. I continued to write my poems. I didn't feel too depressed. You know, I still have my little bit of moments because it's a work in progress, but it wasn't as bad, you know? So I'm like, wow, if I didn't have gone to this particular session, where would I be now? Would I be dead? You know? So it was just a blessing in disguise to really go to that program, to learn about other people's stories, and also to learn about to learn about myself and to tell my story, because I never really was allowed to tell my story. Um, so I just say that all that to say that I didn't overcome my depression completely, but I'm 80% there. I do get depressed sometimes. Yeah, yes, I do. But I typically turn towards poems and poetry, and reading poems and writing poems and listening to poems more than I do to self-harm. And that's a big step for me. That's why I keep my nails short. I'm like, if I get long nails, I'm gonna get tempted to do it again. I don't need that. So I'm 80% better. I speak to my therapist. She helped me a lot. I still have those people in the panel's contact information. All, I think it was like 5 of them. I have 3 of their contact informations. Yes, 3 of their contact informations. I still talk to them from time to time. They reach out to me. I reach out to them. I love it. I literally love it here. So, that's my depression story. My anxiety story is just natural social anxiety. That I get sweaty palms, or I stutter when I speak, or I have to plan out a specific conversation for somebody to talk to. Excuse me. So sorry. Excuse me. I don't know why I have anxiety, but I do. I don't really typically do anything about it. I just take deep breaths, drink water, shake my hands, go like this, pray. Of course, prayer always helps. Read the scripture, and I think positive about it. You know, it's normal to have depression and anxiety. It's not normal to hold it in. It's not normal to think that people are gonna hate you because you have depression and anxiety, or people are gonna talk about you because you have depression and anxiety. It's not normal to keep those feelings in and to think negative about it. But it is normal to have depression and anxiety. It is normal to seek help. So I encourage you strongly, if you ever feel like you are depressed, anxious, tired, self-harm, suicidal, whatever it is, seek help. Call the hotline. Talk to me. I always leave my socials. Follow my socials. Talk to me. DM me. I'm always here for you because I know how it can be. I mean, I know your situation because I'm not you, but I can talk you through. I can send you sources to help you. Please, 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 please seek help because your life is important. You have so much going on for you. You may not see it now because it's it's a lot going on with coronavirus and just different things like that, but God always has a bigger and better picture than what you see. He knows. He knows your heart. He knows your mind. He knows your life. He knows your plans. So he knows it all. So please, please, please just seek help. Try your best to stay vocal about it. Talk to your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your aunt, your uncle, your best friend, your cousin, somebody. Seek help. Like, yes, self-help is good. Like, they're writing and drawing and dancing and things like that. Yes, that's all good. But seeking mental health and professional health is okay as well. I'm here for you. I love you guys so much. This is a small little talk about, my mental health and what I'm going through. Stay well. Remember, I'm here for you. I love you. Be true, be you. Be blessed.